Hello and welcome to the Black Hat Bushcraft channel. Today I'm filming from Sweden, and Sweden has been a long time bucket list place for me to come and visit, and to be able to come out here into the wilderness and camp and just experience the beauty of Sweden has been just a long time dream for me. So it's awesome to be here, and I'm here on a canoe adventure with a group of people, with Dave Canterbury and other instructors from the Pathfinder School, Pathfinder Scandinavia, and a group of guys that have come from all over Europe. We've got people from America, of course. We've got people from UK, people from Holland, people from Sweden, Denmark, Hungary, people from all over. And we're all just sitting around the campfire, sharing ideas, bushcrafting, and training together. It's just a great experience. So I've had a great time. While we had just a few minutes of downtime, I wanted to get away and film a quick clip showing the William Collins Nessy in multi-grind. This is a knife that I've only had for a week now, and I've been out here and just kind of testing it and using it, and I wanted to give an initial impressions video. I was really enjoying using this knife. Yesterday we were carving bow drill sets, we've been doing feather sticks and just bushcrafty type stuff, and the knife's performed very well. So I know there's not a lot of videos because it's a pretty new knife and some people may be looking at it or curious about it, so I thought I'd just show it in action for a few minutes, just give you a closer look at it. Here's the knife here. I'll give you a close-up, and you can get specs from William's site, but the knife is very comfortable in the hand. It's a compact knife, so it's more of a bushcraft size knife, and it has a multi-grind, so it starts as a Scandi and it goes all the way to the tip at a full flat grind. You can see that Nesmith hump there, which is great when you go to skinning, things like that. But the nice thing about this knife is it's an 11.5 degree angle from the base all the way to the tip, so it's very easy to hone and it's very easy for carving tasks. You really learn how to use this knife very quickly. So anyway, wanted to give you a look at it. You can see the stamp here, which is AEB. It is an AEBL stainless steel knife. I've always been a big fan of carbon steel knives. I've always used carbon steel. I own Williams WCNK neck knife in AEBL, and I've been super satisfied with that knife and how easy it is to hone that thing up, and it holds an edge at least as long, if not longer, than any 01 knife that I own, or 1095 knife, especially 1095. So I've been really pleased with this, and the advantage of the AEBL is when you, let's say you're cutting up fruit or something like that, 01's immediately going to start to patina, which there's nothing wrong with that. I don't mind that. But if you don't touch it up or clean it off real good, put some oil on it, it'll start to rust. This stuff doesn't even stain. I've been carving a lot of green wood, some things that had tannin in it and stuff that would normally stain that knife. No stains. Still looks just like it did when I got it. And some people may not like that. You want it to patina, but it's nice when you're processing food and things like that to be able to have that stainless, and around water and so forth. It's just a nice thing. But again, it handles like 01. It hones up just as easy, and it holds that edge, if not anything, longer than 01. So I'm really enjoying that. The only downside, if you consider it, is that you can't strike sparks off the back of your knife. I carry a silky saw, which does a fantastic job of that if I need it. And if I'm going to make flint and steel, I'll have a fire steel. But other than that, this knife does everything. It strikes sparks fantastic from a ferro rod, so no problems there. It does have a nice 90-degree spine. So let's put the knife to work and let you see how it performs on wood. Anytime I have a new knife, one of the first things that I like to do with it is to practice carving feather sticks. And that's a pretty basic exercise, but it gives you a good idea of how a blade performs based on the geometry, and it gives you some idea of how well it controls, and it gets you comfortable with the knife. So today just wanted to show using this knife for feather sticks. Because this blade has a constant curve from the base to the tip, it just slices perfectly. And also because it has the Scandi grind here on the back, it's very easy to kind of mate up to the wood. You just tilt the blade just like you were going to sharpen it or hone it, tilt it so it meets the wood. And now with very good control, you can just slide right down and remove the finest material, making those hair-like feathers that we like to use when we're starting our fires. But another thing that makes this easy with this knife is the fact that it's the same angle, again, from the base to the tip. So that 11.5 goes from the base to the tip there. And it's just excellent carving. And I'm carving spruce, which is something I don't get the opportunity to carve very much. But being here in Sweden has given me a chance to work with materials I'm not used to, and that's been a joy as well. But you can see this thing just effortlessly removes material to make those fine feathers. And again, that curved blade just makes that really effortless. So really good for these fine bushcrafting type tasks. Another little feature that I found with this knife is because of this little Nessy hump here, which would make it perfect for skinning, helping to keep that tip up out of the meat and just under the skin. But that also gives you a really nice push point. So when you're doing fine detail work, the little push cuts, it gives you a place where your thumb just naturally wants to fit. So I've been kind of working with that some over the last couple of days too, using this knife when I'm notching and things like that. And again, with the curve of that blade, watch how it works with the wood. It just slices right through because of that curve. It makes it really nice. It's almost like a fulcrum point that you have because of that curve. Works effortlessly. I keep using that word, but honestly, this knife just makes doing these little notching and carving tasks very easy. Another thing that I always like to do with the new knife is just to carve a few basic notches. And we'll start with a number 7 notch. Notice because of the curve of that blade, when I rock it like this to create that stop cut, it just makes the knife really bite in well. So it makes these stop cuts, which you need when you're making notches, very easy. And you can make very clean notches. And if you want to make fine detail, like on smaller material, that very narrow blade, which kind of is like maybe a Mora type knife, but that's in other words, it's narrow from top to bottom, does a really good job with that fine detail work. The only limitation I really see with this knife is just the fact that because it goes to a full flat grind, that it gets very thin. But that's also an advantage, because when you're slicing things like meat or food, then now you can make those fine cuts. So it's an advantage, it's a disadvantage if you use it wrong, and I think that's key. But things like making these basic notches is very easy. If I want to make, let's say, like a saddle notch, again, having this little Nessy hump here gives me a great place to use for that thumb push. And now I can come in on the other side and create that nice saddle, which is a commonly used bushcrafting notch when you're assembling things like pack frames, or of course we can also use square notches for that. But you get the idea, very easy to create that type of notch. And then one of my favorites to carve is always like a pot type notch, where you make an X in your material. And again, perfect for stop cuts. And come here on the other side. Same thing. And now once again using the push cuts. And notice how the round part of this blade is perfect for this, because I go right up to my stop cut there and bite right in, kind of clean out that stop cut. Just does a really nice job of that. Now here on the other side, I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to go more from the tip to the base and bite into that stop cut. And this is birch that I'm carving in, and I don't get a chance to work with this type of birch much. It's a beautiful wood, a beautiful tree, and it's been a pleasure for me to get a chance to use these different types of materials here in Sweden. It's a beautiful country, and if you haven't been, I'd strongly recommend that you get here at some point, because it's definitely a outdoorsman's paradise here, and just a beautiful place to be. So you get the idea with that bell notch, and having this thinner knife makes slicing into this type of material a lot easier. Just does a really nice job. So it's just a few of the basic bushcraft notches that I use, and with the Nessy, no problem. Alright, so I'd like to thank you guys for taking the time to tune in for this quick look at the WC Knives Nessy in multi-grind. After quite a few months of using it, I'll probably come back and do a full review for those that are interested. We'll see. But for now, I just wanted to show the knife, and give my initial impressions. I'd like to thank William for making an awesome knife. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in, and I look forward to hopefully doing a little more video here in Sweden before the trip's over. Take care, and until the next one, God bless.